Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Suza here. Yay! So today what we are going to talk about, it was kind of highly requested. A lot of you guys have been asking me on Instagram, a lot of you guys have been like commenting on my videos that you want to know a little bit more about studying in Seoul. And you actually did have quite a lot of questions, so I decided to put them all into one video. If you're interested in studying in Seoul or being an exchange student here in Seoul, then keep watching. I need you guys to know one thing. I think this is a misconception about this channel. Like, I am not a full-time student here in Korea. I am just an exchange student, but for this video I actually gathered quite a lot of information. Even though it's going to be from my perspective, I'll try to answer your questions as detailed as I possibly can. So the first part of this video is going to be relating to the uni life itself, and the other part is going to be about the language course here at SNU. So yeah, let's get into it. The first thing that I was asked a lot is about expenses. So how much it is in reality, how you can get a house, how much is housing and stuff like that. So the thing about renting a flat in Korea is that the more deposit you pay, the cheaper the rent is going to get. From my experience, the rent can be negotiable. It depends on your landlord, it depends on your contract as well, but if you pay more deposit, then the rent is going to go down. So you might want to ask your landlord before renting your flat. But how much is it in reality? It really does depend on what kind of flat you're renting. Basically, for students, I think the most popular flats are one rooms or office styles, which is basically a small room and a kitchen annex and your own bathroom. And those rooms are, as I said, they're pretty small, but they're not that expensive. Also, it really does depend on the location. They tend to be a little bit more expensive around the uni area, but for me, the room that I'm renting around the SNU station is 500,000 Korean won per month, which is around $450 per month. So it's not really expensive. For sure you can get it for a lot cheaper if you live you know, a little bit further away from the uni, but yeah, I prefer being close to uni. I don't really like waking up very early. How to find places to live. So obviously, probably a lot of you found this channel because of my dorm video. I don't live in the dorms anymore, but the dorms, they're definitely available. But the problem with dorms is that most universities in Korea, they offer only twin room dorms. So if you want to find a room on your own, you can find them on Facebook groups such as Housing in Seoul, Apartments for Rent. Like, there's tons of groups like that on Facebook. Or you can find those apartments on Korean websites such as zipbang. In Korean it's zipbang. But you need to be careful when you're looking for apartments online. Please be careful not to get scammed, because you know, those things happen everywhere in the world. Like, you rent a flat and the flat is basically non-existent, so you please be careful about that. Also, if you are signing a contract with a landlord, make sure to have somebody with you who can speak Korean fluently, who can read the contract for you, so you know, you don't get scammed basically. Another thing about expenses is the living expenses. So take out around $400 per month on housing. How much is it going to be for you to basically be able to eat and go out? I know that this is a very personal matter because obviously everybody has their own lifestyle, but for me, it's around $100 per week. And it includes like going out and transport fees and everything like that. It really does depend on what you eat or where you eat. If you prefer to cook for yourself, if you prefer to go out and eat. For me, I don't really eat at home. I tend to go out a lot to eat. I mean, not going out with friends all the time, but like eating alone. I am not really good at cooking Korean food, and the Western ingredients, they're a little bit more expensive here, obviously. If you live on campus or around campus, a really good way to feed yourself is going to school cafeterias, and it's really affordable as well. One meal is around 3,000 to 5,000 won, and it's quite a big meal actually. I haven't been able to do that unfortunately because I've been having online classes, and since I don't live in campus, it's not really, you know, comfortable for me to go just to the cafeteria to grab some food. But when I was living on campus, I was amazing. When you live in Korea, you need to take into consideration that the food culture here is pretty much focused on sharing the food. So if you're going out, around where I live, there's so many restaurants that are designed for, you know, going out with friends and going out for dates and stuff like that. So the prices that you see in restaurants, they might be a little bit, you know, up there, but it's just because it's a huge portion and you get to share it with your friends. And if you don't go too crazy with your friends, it's going to be like around $10. So if I were to compare to, you know, European prices, you know, you have London, which is obviously very expensive, and then you would have Warsaw. So I think that Seoul would be like in the middle, because there are some things that are like a little bit more expensive than in Europe, but there are also things that are super cheap, so they're very much comparable to like Central or like Eastern European prices. So yeah, just so you get an idea, like if the prices are a spectrum, then I guess Seoul would be in the middle. Something that is super affordable in Korea is the transport. So you don't need to worry about the transportation fees, because one ride on the subway is, I think it's like 1,250 won, which is around $1. Yeah, but just because everything in Seoul is pretty much spread out, the most popular places, they are not really close to each other. They're not really like a walking distance, so you might find yourself spending a little bit more on transport than you think. So take that into consideration, but other than that, I wouldn't worry about transport. Another thing that you guys have been asking me about a lot is whether you can work when you're in Korea. It depends on your visa, obviously, but if you are here on a D2 visa, then yes, you are entitled to work in Korea, but only up to 25 hours per week. And if you want to work, then you need to get a permission from your university. I do believe that if you want to get a good job, speaking Korean is, you know, a requirement. You are not going to get hired at a cafe if you don't speak Korean, unfortunately. Is it hard to find a job? I don't think so. There's a lot of apps that make it easier for you. There's an app called 알바 천국, which means like part-time heaven. So if I were you, I would not worry about that. But if you don't speak Korean, then obviously that can be an obstacle. That brings me to another question, which is the knowledge of Korean necessary to study in Korea? Most universities definitely require a certain knowledge of Korean, and that would be topic level 3 or 4. And if you don't know what topic is, this is a Korean proficiency exam. Another thing that you can do is you can take Korean language program at, for example, seogang until level 3, and then if you pass level 3 or level 4, then you can normally apply to seogang for their full-time courses, but I am not 100% sure about that. I'm repeating just what my friend said. There's this really cool website that is called studyinkorea.go.kr. Yeah, Study in Korea. It's basically a government site that explains a lot of things about studying abroad here in Korea. So if you're interested in that, you can always click in the link that I'm going to put down below. Now, if you're curious about how to apply to SNU for your year abroad, then please continue watching this video, because I am about to walk you through that process briefly. If you're applying to SNU and you want to be an exchange student here, then there are some things that you need to send them. The first thing that you need to write is a motivational letter. You know, kind of like a statement of purpose why you want to study here at SNU. Another thing is a transcript of your grades, a letter from your professor. That would be best if you had that from your convener or from a professor from a department, but it really doesn't have to be. And then obviously a copy of your passport. And another thing is tuition. To be honest, I have no idea how tuition works here at SNU, because I am a UK university student. Then I had to pay my home uni, and then they will have paid SNU the tuition, you know. So it was, I didn't do it directly, they just did it. Like I paid my uni and then my uni paid SNU, you know, that kind of stuff. Is it hard to make friends here in Korea if you don't know the language? So I did not really have this problem, because when I came to Korea this year, I was already quite good at Korean. Like I guess I could have, you know, just make normal conversation with people, so I wasn't really concerned about that. But I saw a lot of people who had no idea how to speak Korean, and they also had no problem making friends, because from my experience, you know, Korean students and Korean people in general, they're like super nice. And especially if you're an exchange student, other students at your uni, they just want you to have the best experience. So there's so many, you know, so-called buddy programs at SNU. The buddy program works like that you get a buddy that studies at SNU, and then you are put in a group with lots of buddies and lots of other exchange students, and you know, they organize many amazing activities and they introduce you to the culture. They facilitate this initial phase of you blending in the school society, you know. So it's really easy to make friends if you join that kind of group. So if you don't speak Korean, that should not be one of your worries. As long as you can speak English, you should be able to communicate with other students perfectly. But basic Korean knowledge is kind of essential to function properly in the society. I'm not telling you to, you know, just start suddenly speaking Korean like a pro, but like just to know how to say thank you. Or if you go to a cafe, be prepared to order coffee in Korean. I got this one question on my Instagram. Somebody asked me if, you know, going to Korea for a year abroad, is it worth it? And I was like, well, duh. But then I thought that, you know, before I came to Korea, I had my doubts too. I was like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Like, it's so far. I'm going to be like apart with my family and my friends. But now that I look back, I have no idea why I was so insecure about it. It so far has been literally the greatest experience of my life. I learned so much about myself and I learned so much about culture. So I definitely encourage you guys to, you know, look into that. Maybe get inspired. Maybe you guys will want to come to Korea as well. I don't know. Currently it's May 3rd, and it's already like 26 degrees. The weather is getting amazing, and I'm finishing my course this week. Next Friday I'll be already free. Yes! I'll try to make more videos. I keep saying that. I know that I keep saying that, but I've been just so overwhelmed with things. I will be recording part 2 to this video soon enough, I believe. If I missed any important points, please let me know in the comments below. I will try to answer all of your questions. If you don't have a YouTube account or something, you can always ask me on Instagram, which is, feel free to follow me down there. And yeah, subscribe to me and stuff. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!